Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lisa, and I'm the training specialist here at Quorum. Today, we're going to be run through a handful of questions from our Lots point of sale side. So these are questions that have come through to our support team in the last couple of months, and just thought that I'd run through just a handful of information on each of them. So there's 10 questions in total. The videos that are accommodating them are only a couple of minutes long, and then we'll have a quick chat about each of the videos as they go through. Now, if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask, please don't hesitate to pop that into the chat section at the very top of your screen and write me a message, and I will try and answer them either during the session or towards the end. Okay, let's get started with our first video.
How can I modify the look of my shelf labels? There are two settings that relate to this. First one is in your options. With the options open, over the side here we have pricing. We then have prices on goods and shelf labels. You can either have a single price, you can display the retail versus recommended retail versus the stock card discount, or retail versus the club member price. Let's select retail versus recommended retail. The second setting is here in your printer setup, under POS and shelf labels, and click on the cog symbol. This will then launch how your standard shelf label looks. We have that retail price versus the recommended retail price. Now you can name what each of those fields are then called. You can also click on the fields and move them around. You can click on the header and expand it out. Or you can type here to increase the size. You can also tick what fields you want displayed on the label.
Okay, so not too long, as you can see. So that one there, I do have another video that is in particular in regards to some of the other settings inside there. That'll go through in just a moment. But for that one there, it's first off, I just wanted to say with your price and shelf labels, you should actually be able to print your shelf labels from any computer to any printer that you've got dictated in your pharmacy. So if you have a current system where only one or two computers can print to the printer, you can let the support team know and they can organise to have that all sorted so every computer does have the ability to print to any of the other printers. Now, second to that as well is that this setting here, so the setting you can see on the screen at the moment, that shelf label layout, that setting is per computer, so you do need to go into each of the computers and slightly modify them occasionally to ensure that it does print correctly. But the setting for what type of label that you've got, so the one where we went into the options previously, that is a global setting. So whether or not you've got the retail price and recommended retail price turned on, or single price turned on, or 3 across labels or 2 labels, whatever setting that you've got set there, that is a global setting. So that one will be, it only needs to be set once, and then we'll have that saved across all of the systems. Okay, so we'll run through our next video, which is in regards to our receipt vouchers.
Is how to enable and set up receipt vouchers. Lots has the option to enable a voucher to print on receipts if the sale has gone over a particular value. To set this up, in your Lots options, on POS receipt, we tick Enable Receipt Voucher. Here you set up your minimum trigger value, meaning the sale needs to be above this amount before the voucher is enabled. You then pop in your message and hit OK.
Okay, so that's just a nice easy setting. Now that one there is obviously a global setting across all of the systems, but the idea is that the customer needs to spend a particular amount in a single sale, and then this voucher will print at the bottom of that receipt. Now, doesn't include your scripts unless you do tick that allow script option, but that then will only still include your private scripts. It won't include any of the PBS prescriptions. This is sort of a good setting that you can have if you want to help increase your basket size. So every customer that spends over $50 on non-PBS items, maybe they then get a $10 voucher for next time they come back in, or a 10% off for next time. So it's one of those sort of settings that you can either turn on and leave on, or you could have a weekly special on Tuesdays, spend over X amount, just sort of that sort of thing. Okay, let's jump into our next video.
How to move an item to a different department. Here in your stock card, you can move your items into different departments simply by using your drop-down menus. You do need to keep in mind that if you are part of a head office, your department structure is organised by your head office. If you did want to update the location of your stock in bulk, this can be done via the Modify Departments module. When this is opened, we click on the plus next to all products. Here we have the full list of our departments. These are indicated by the blue folders. Our sub-departments are indicated by the yellow folders. When you're moving stock from one department to another, it is important to remember you must move them from sub-department to sub-department. Highlighting the sub-department will then list all of the items in that sub-department. You can use your control key to highlight individual items, or you can use your shift key to highlight a group. Once you have the highlighted items, right-click and cut. Then simply click on the sub-department that you want these items to get moved to. Right-click and paste.
Excellent. Okay, so as I said at the beginning of that video, if you are part of a head office where you have an RPM connection, the departments is actually manned by your head office. So all of your products will live in whichever department they have them set against. If there is anything in your unallocated department, which is the one at the top screen there, top of the screen, you can actually move them though. So those ones are items that are not linked to your head office. So therefore you can move however you like. You can move them to wherever you like. Now, if you're not part of a head office with RPM, you can name and rename your departments as you see fit. You can move them in bulk, so you can grab a whole heap of items from that sub-department and move it to a different sub-department. When that sub-department is empty, you can then delete it. So you'd right-click on it and delete. And if you had deleted all of the sub-departments inside the department section, you would then be able to delete that department as well. So you can remove them all out and essentially change and modify how your departments look, how many departments you have, and the products that are then inside each of those departments as well. Next one up is how to rename or remove an account class. Oh.
How to rename or remove account classes. In your lot system, you can arrange your customers into different account classes. These can be called anything you like. As creating an account class is quite easy, sometimes you may end up with some account classes that are spelt incorrectly or need to get removed completely. To do this, we go from Tools and down to Set Discounts and Credit Limit by Class. When this option is selected, you can use the drop-down menu to open up to all of your classes and then simply either rename or delete the class as required.
Okay, sorry about that. I just had a bit of technical difficulty. I hope you were still able to see everything on the screen there. So basically your account classes is a way that you can group your customers within your lot system. Now, creating an account class is quite easy. So in your debtors details, in the account class field, you essentially type whatever you like in there. And when you click to one of the other fields, it will say that account class doesn't exist. Would you like to create it? Now, if someone's typed in there and not realized and then they hit enter, essentially you end up with a new account class. And sometimes that can be a little bit confusing. Maybe you mistyped, or maybe you needed to pop a capital in there when it's all sitting as lowercase. So to change the names of any of your classes, you come into your debtor system here and then update it via that set discounts and credit limit by class. It's kind of an odd little spot to have that setting, but it is the one that's there for you as well. Now, you can't delete an account class that has people attached, and it will tell you that. It won't let you delete a class if there's anyone linked. So if you did want to check to make sure that that account class is empty first, you would normally go up to, even on this screen here, you'd normally go up the top to view, and then you've got by account class or institution, and you select that option and then select the class that you're looking at, and that'll show you everyone that's physically listed to that account class. Okay, so we'll go to our next one.
How to set up auto-generated stock reports for lots each month. In your lots, you can set up an automated stock list and value report. This option does have a video on its own, so if you did need more details, please have a look for this video on our website. Otherwise, you click on stock list and value and then set your fields accordingly. Always recommend real cost and active stock as some basic options. Down the bottom, you can then select Save your selections once you're happy and ensure Enable Automatic Monthly Exports is ticked. This will then export the report each and every month to the Exported Reports folder on your Lots Master computer.
Excellent. So this setting does actually have a full sort of video on the different options and settings and things that you can save. So if you did want more information on it, it's a good idea to go and check that video out on our website. But essentially, it's just ensuring that at each and every month that an export value is there. So lots can't often look backwards on its values at particular times. So having this option turned on means that you can then look at and see reports that were, or this report, that was the value of your stock level at that particular time. Now we have recently introduced into the program a new exporting option as well. So we will be putting more and more of the reports in that export function. At the moment, I think there's about 3 or 4 reports that you can have as an export option. So you can also pop in email addresses in there as well, and you can put multiple email addresses as options for exports also. So that will be coming up in one of our new videos that I'll be launching in the next couple of weeks as well. Okay, so we're halfway there, guys. So we're up to our video number 6. It is similar to our how to change my stock card look, but it's more specific in regards to the retail and recommended retail option.
How to set up retail and recommended retail pricing on our labels. Lots has 2 different types of labels, a goods label and a shelf label. We can set up retail and recommended retail printing on our shelf labels. You first need to have this turned on within the lots options. With your options open, select here on pricing, and then in the middle, our prices on goods and shelf labels. We pop our little radio dial next to the retail and recommended retail option. We then go into our printer setup. Once in here, we click on the cog symbol that aligns with our shelf labels. This opens our shelf label layout. You've then got your retail and your recommended retail options. You can change how these appear on the label. You can type in whatever you'd like to call them. This then reflects on the label printout.
Excellent. Okay, so it is very similar to that first video that we were looking at, but does talk specifically about this retail and recommended retail field. Now you can name that whatever you like. It doesn't need to be now and was like I've got in this video. It can be our price, their price. It can be before discount, after discount, whatever you like. Now, if there is no recommended retail value inside your stock card, it won't actually have that ticked. So it won't appear on your label. It'll just have the our price or the now or the current retail price. Okay, so we'll run through our next video, which is in regards to our nominate supplier.
How to set up using Nominate Supplier for price updates. The Nominate Supplier program does have its own training video, so please take a look on the website if you'd like some more details. A quick refresher is here on the desktop of your master computer is an icon called Nominate Supplier. In here is a list of all of the suppliers that we can send you price files for. As there are quite a lot of suppliers, please take your time and go through this full list. Once you have ticked the suppliers you'd like to receive the price files for, simply click on Save. Within the hour, these price files will download to your Lots master computer.
Excellent. Now, once those files then download to your Lots master computer, you can then use them to run your price updates. And the price updates things like your part codes and your barcodes, but we do go through that in one of the next videos that's there as well. Now, if the supplier is ticked inside your Nominate Supplier, you will continuously receive the most up-to-date price files for that company. Now, we often have different suppliers send us them every 6 weeks. We have major wholesalers that send them to us twice a week, and we have other suppliers that just send them to us fortnightly or monthly. So as soon as we get a file, we make it compatible for your lot system. And then we send it to you via that Nominate Supplier. So everyone who has those suppliers ticked will continually receive the most up-to-date information from those suppliers. Now, you don't have to run every file. Every file is a complete file in itself, so it will have all the previous changes. So some people run it once a month. Some people run them as soon as they get them. It's completely up to yourself when you run them. We do also have a price updates training video, so it's a good idea to have a watch of that one as well, just because there are different reasons why you might run your price updates. It's not all about prices. Okay, so our next one is in regards to script queuing and just how to turn it on. It's a super quick one, but we'll run through it anyway.
How to turn on script queuing. Script queuing is an option for Lots Complete sites, meaning you have both of our dispense and point of sale systems. Script queuing has many different functions, primarily queuing scripts from the point of sale system to the dispense system instantly. To turn this on, in your Lots options, we have script queuing highlighted and we tick Enable Script Queuing. We then have the options for Print Pharmacy Docket and Print Customer Docket, and whether we need a barcode on that docket.
Okay, so super quick one. Now, script queuing is more for our Lots Complete stores, so stores that do have our dispense and our point of sale system. The idea is for script queuing is that at the front counter or one of the other computers, you can queue those items into a queue, essentially queue those scripts into a queue. Now, if you want to dispense them right away, then by all means go and dispense them. The script queue, in my mind, is either something that you're dispensing things later on, whether that be 10 minutes from now, whether that be they're going up to the hairdressers and then they're going to come back, or whether that be that they're going to come back next week or in 21 days or whenever it happens to be. So the script queuing is a really good option to be able to store those scripts inside. It's good for also the tokens in particular. So tokens are obviously the ones that come often on people's phones. So instead of needing to take the phone into the dispensary and scan it into the computer, if you store it into that script queue, you've got it there ready and then can dispense from that queue when you are ready to have that script. Okay, so our next one is in regards to the dockets on the barcode. Again, it's a super quick video. We will start that off.
How to turn on the docket barcode. A docket on your barcode can be used during the returns to ensure that the right sale is selected. To turn this on, we go to Tools, Options, POS Receipts, and tick Enable Barcode on Receipt.
Super quick. So it doesn't really have much other functions at this stage and except for returns and obviously finding it later on. If you do need to view that sale receipt again, you can just scan that barcode in there. It is going to have a few things added to it later on, so other features and stuff that you can use that barcode for. Some people like to have the barcode on the bottom just to make it easier when finding things for your returns or for viewing the sale at another time. Okay, so our last video today is in regards to what do flashing price updates mean?
And our last question for today, what do flashing price updates mean? Over here on the right-hand side of any of your lot's computers, you'll have flashing price updates. Some of our suppliers send us price updates twice a week, and others send us every 6 weeks or so. The flashing means that these are new price files ready for you to update. You don't have to update every file that comes in, as each one is a complete file. In your price updates module, the flashing files are these ones that appear as yellow, meaning they're a new file ready to be processed.
So a new file is literally a file that hasn't had anything done to it, so it hasn't had any lines updated. Now, the flashing isn't a bad thing. The flashing is just there as an indicator to let you know that there's files ready to process. Now, if you only process them once a month, then they'll flash for most of that month until you do actually process those files. Essentially, you can open them up, process a single line inside, and that will stop the flashing, if that's something that concerns you. Most of the time, people just leave those on there, and then if they are waiting on a particular file from a particular supplier, they will then open up and run that file's update. It's completely up to yourself how often you do run your price updates. Okay, so we have had a question come through, just one today, so that's good. So first time here, excellent, thank you. Thank you for joining us. You've got a question in regards to the locations in the stock cards and how to erase stock cards. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up my virtual machine so that everyone can see that. Let me just move that over. There we go. Okay, so inside your stock cards, we'll just bring one up. Everyone knows me and my Panadols tends to be what I always choose. And then you've got locations down the bottom corner here. So the locations here, you can set up, and you do need to set up elsewhere within the program. Then you would normally attach items to that location. So here from your lot stock cards, you've got tools and then utilities and stock utilities. And on here we should have, locations, storage locations at the bottom here. So in here, you could put different names. So you can add a location. So you could put bottom shelf for vitamins, or, back office or something along those lines. And then you need to give it a code. So something that's easy for you to remember. So maybe it's just BSV for bottom shelf vitamins. And then you can obviously put a full code in there too. Now you could add a sub location. So you could just have, back office, and then as a sub location, floor in back office, or shelf in back office, whatever you like. You can set them up as a location and then a sub location. You don't have to do sub locations though. You can just have a single location. Once you've got that stored in here, when you are then back in your lot stock cards under locations, you would hit your plus, you'd have your options in there. Now, because I created the other one whilst this stock card was open is why I don't have both listed in there. But you would then select wherever you want that storage to be, and then you'd go OK. And that would then pop that location onto this stock card. So that's the location of where the stock should be. You've got how many facings that you've got of the item. So a facings is how many, like is it sitting side by side or is it just a single facings? You've got your quantity and then the position where it sits as well. So you can see all of that here on your locations. Now, if you don't have the location created, that's where you've got to go into that storage location section and then create the location there. And that will then, you then build up your locations, and then that's where you pop in your extra stock is inside that location. Now, the other question you asked for was deleting cards as well. So you can delete cards. It is reasonably easy to delete a card. You just literally go up the top to edit and then you can go delete. It won't let you delete drug lines, so anything that has a drug information attached at the back here. And I don't recommend deleting anything that has history. The system does allow you to. There is no backsies, so once you do delete it, it is gone. So you do need to make sure that you are 100% sure you're happy to delete it. But if you've got any sales history, I don't normally recommend deleting it. And if you've got any purchase history, I don't normally recommend deleting it. You can always merge it if you do think that you've got duplicate cards for it. You can use the merge utility in the system instead, which is that merge duplicate stock cards, to merge items instead of deleting them. Normally, if I'm running through something for a customer and I'm checking some of the stock items, I will always check my purchase and my sales history before I go ahead and delete an item if needed. It's a good idea to make sure that you check that as well. Okay, I hope that that's at least given you either something new or answered any of the questions that you might have. Each month I do run a webinar session for one of our different topics. So our next one is our Quorum Clear Dispense program, normally about end of the month. But you'll be receiving some emails and things from us in regards to joining us for that session if you'd like. Otherwise, I will be sending through a link to this recording. So if there is anybody that wasn't able to make it, but you'd like them to still see it, or even download these as future trainings for future staff members, feel free to do so. Okay, until next time, thank you for joining.